Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I don't know what it is about Wednesdays, but boy, that was a tough one. All right, so today we're going to be working on jumps out of the saddle. I want to make sure you can see this. My bike ready. Okay, so jumps out of the saddle. That's what we're going to be working on today. And what we're going to be listening to. So make sure you have your water with some electrolytes. Always have electrolytes or pre-workout. If you're doing that this morning, oh my gosh, what a Wednesday. Thank God. Cheers. Oh, here. Cheers. Adaptogens wake your body up. Okay, so today's morning we're going to listen to Mr. Chris Harder, hopefully. I listened to this yesterday and it was phenomenal. Where was it? Oh, don't tell me. Oh. Well, this might be it. Where the hell was it? Oh. Let's do the coronavirus economy, part 2. Oh, that one's a long one.
I want you to start recognizing the opportunities, building them.
So remember, this is a time for it's time for despair for a lot of people, but it's all time for opportunity and prosperity for people who've been smart with their monies. Sorry.
Welcome, everybody. This is For the Love of Money, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success by sharing the tools, tips, and stories of those who have already made it. My name is Chris Harder, and each week I will bring you incredible guests in order to prove that when good people make good money, they do great things. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of For the Love of Money. This is part 3 of the coronavirus economy. If you have not yet listened to part 1 or part 2, definitely go back and listen to those two. You don't have to necessarily have heard those first, but you definitely want to listen to all 3 in order to get the complete picture. In the first one, right, I talked about the different.
Maybe we'll go back to 2.
Because there'll be so much pent-up demand to interact, to consume, for entertainment, for normalcy, for feeling productive. That come September, there is going to be an opportunity.
Warm up, but we're only going to go for listen to him for 15 minutes. So if you want to listen to the rest, you're going to have to go listen to it on your own, on Spotify or iTunes.
And stories of those who have already made it. My name is Chris Harder, and each week I will bring you incredible guests in order to prove that when good people make good money, they do great things. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of For the Love of Money. Today we are actually diving into the coronavirus economy part 2. And part 2 is going to be what to expect and how to prepare. Now if you have not listened to part 1,
good warm up, but listen to this.
Before or after this, they don't have to be in order. Both of them are going to bring you a ton of value. But the goal of part 2, what to expect and how to prepare, is really to help you understand what we're facing and then help you create a plan that's going to allow you to survive and then thrive. And I really do do mean thrive. Listen, I know there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of fear out there, but there's so much opportunity as well. And I'm going to talk about both in here. I'm going to be very realistic with you about what we're facing, but then I'm going to be very frank with you about the incredible opportunity that every single one of you listening has. And so stick with me to the end, even as we go on a little bit of a roller coaster ride with some ups and some downs, because I promise you, you will feel exponentially better, exponentially safer, and exponentially more optimistic about what's going to happen as we navigate our way through this together. Because that's really the truth of what's going on. We are in this
Keep your
together.
shoulders down. If you want a bike like this.
Said, if you remember, if you listened, in part 1 of this series, that there would be more bankruptcies than deaths due to the coronavirus. And when I say more, I mean like 1,000 to 1 ratio. There will be more bankruptcies than deaths. But, do you want to hear the rest of the news? There will also be more entrepreneurs born, more entrepreneurs created, more new businesses created, and more millionaires created coming out of this more than any other time in our history. And so as we navigate this together, I'm going to help you decide which end you want to be on. You want to be on the end of ending in struggle, of financial struggle? Or do you want to be one of the individuals that's going to find the opportunity, be resourceful, and come out the other end as one of these brand new entrepreneurs, one of these brand new businesses, and one of these brand new millionaires created? You have to realize that with every massive shift, massive new opportunity is created too, simultaneously. They always go hand in hand. And so whatever you think that we might have lost over the last couple of weeks, we have gained 10 times the opportunity, which I'm going to prove to you in a little bit. So the very first thing I need you to do while you listen to this, and then the very first thing I need you to do as you put this episode away and continue to live life, is I need you to retrain yourself from seeing potential loss to somebody who sees opportunity. I am an opportunity-seeking machine. I can't help but see it everywhere I go. It's like a flashing light in front of me, and especially right now. And you can be that too. I want you to retrain your brain from seeking what possible fallout might happen to somebody who only sees the upside. Protect yourself from the fallout. We'll talk about that. But see the upside, because when you see the upside, you know where to go, you know what to do. Now, I want to be real. I know that not all of you feel prepared right now, and that's okay. I know that a lot of you are scared right now, and that's okay. And I know that there's a ton of uncertainty. That goes for all of us. And the reason I know this is because I have been in your shoes. I have faced the same scenery that so many of you are facing right now. The fear and the uncertainty and the lack of a plan. Make no mistake, we are facing a massive challenge. And we are facing a massive recession. Never before have we seen the likes of 9/11 meets pandemic meets 2008. And thankfully, this time facing it, Lori, my wife, and I are more than set up to thrive. We have years of runway for our personal expenses, and we have years of runway for our business expenses without having to liquidate any investments at all. But that wasn't the case 12 years ago when we were facing the Great Recession. No, that was not the case. As a matter of fact, Lori and I were in the opposite position that we are right now. We were like many of you. No runway, no significant savings, tons of debt, and full of uncertainty and afraid. And so I'm not kidding when I say I fully understand exactly how you're feeling right now and exactly what you're facing right now, and I am equipped to give you advice because I have been there before. Here's a quick story. In 2008, when the recession hit, I was in banking, and I wasn't just in banking. I was one of the fastest rising executives at the world's biggest bank. I mean, I was in it. I was in it from the standpoint of seeing behind the curtain of everything that was happening, and I was in it in terms of getting hit and getting hit hard. And after a year of closing down bank branches,
We're still warming
every
up,
day,
guys.
every week,
Warming up.
it became my turn to take a severance package and go home. Now the problem is this. You would think that because I was working in banking, I would have taken care of our money. But I was young and dumb and ignorant, and I thought it would last forever. And so we were living beyond our means. And when the music stopped, when the faucet of income turned off, and I was the only breadwinner at the time, we were faced with a big, big problem right on the front end of this recession. So, having no job, having no income, and having no backup plan, Lori and I got to work. We short sold the huge home that we had just built that we were so proud of. We walked away from or liquidated any and all of the rental and investment properties that we had that were now upside down. We negotiated with our creditors on our credit card balances. We got rid of all of our cars except one that was so far upside down, meaning we owed more on it than it was worth, that we just decided to keep it because it didn't make sense to pay the difference. I mean, we were in it.
All right, we're still warming up.
And I think the most humbling part was this.
Got about 5 more minutes, and then
The
we're
most
gonna get into
humbling part
jumps.
was also the part that saved us. And that was all the custom furniture, all the TVs, all the art,
So get ready,
all the everything
get warmed
that
up.
we had made or bought for this new home that we had just built and moved into. We put it on Craigslist almost 12 years ago. We put it on Craigslist. And stranger after stranger after stranger pulled up in front of the house while the neighbors were watching, walked into the house, lowballed me on the couch, lowballed me on the chairs, lowballed me on the tables, lowballed me on the TVs, and walked out with our possessions in exchange for some cash. Now, was that hard to swallow? Yes. Was that humbling? Yes. But was that one of the best moves we've ever made in our life? Yes, and here's why. We knew we had to make a bold move, and I figured that if I liquidated all of these stuff that didn't mean anything anymore to us, all the stuff that were just things, just possessions, that I would be able to create enough runway to prepay our rent for 12 months in a tiny little 900 square foot apartment in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we made our comeback, where we created our comeback story. And having that 12 months of runway, by going through that humbling, tough set of decisions, is what gave us the freedom and the peace of mind to roll up our sleeves and invent ourselves as you know us today. As the entrepreneurs, with all the businesses and everything else that you see today, it came from that moment. And so I guess the first thing I want you to know is if any of you are scared, and if any of you know that you are going to go through a very bad moment right now, that is okay, because some of the greatest gifts in the
4
world
more
are going to come out
minutes.
the other side. You just can't see them right now, and you just can't feel them right now.
So have a listen to Chris. We're gonna get into some jumps
And
afterwards.
even if a guy like me told me that was going to be the case, I wouldn't have seen it. But I am telling you just for the record, you're going to come out the other side and have a story like ours, if you choose to, where this became the greatest moment of your life. A moment of reinvention, a moment of possibility. And so from that humbling experience, combined with the past 12 years since then, where I've been educating myself and surrounding myself and creating and doing all the right moves financially, I get to offer you a very unique perspective on what you should and what you can do, especially if you feel unprepared right now. Now, disclaimer, I'm not about to give you financial advice, that's a must. I'm only sharing my opinions on what I think you could do. I'm not telling you you have to go out and do these things. I'm sharing what I would do if I was in your position all over again. Because I know what's coming. Remember, my entire subject the past several years is money and business and money mindset. And I got to witness the last recession, the Great Recession, from behind the curtain, and in the economy and seeing all the reports before anybody else saw them. And so I know what's coming. We're about to see a significant number of jobs lost. You see, right now, as I record this, we in California are on house lockdown for at least a month, if not longer. And 3 other states have joined us now on this total lockdown. And trust me, no matter where you're living, you're not far behind us. And everybody who's home temporarily from their jobs right now, because the restaurant's closed, the store's closed, the office is closed, more than half of you are not going to have a job, or that company won't be there, or that restaurant won't be
Almost
there
ready.
when the music starts up again. That's just the fact.
2 minutes, and we're going to start our
Home
workout.
values. I've told you for more than a year now, a home is not an investment. It's a great place to live, but a primary home is not an investment. Investment properties are, income-producing properties are, but not the home you live in. Home values are going to get rocked. Right now, we are under a mandated moratorium where...
All right. So before you get into any kind of cycling workout, you really do need to be warmed up. Your legs, especially. I don't get how some of these classes, these bar classes and wheelhouse classes start off with like sprints right out of the bat. Beyond me. I'm telling you, that's probably the best way to create injury than ever. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to so 6 times 3, 18, and 4, 24. So 4 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to work on our jumps out of the saddle. Most importantly, so we're going to do 3 minutes, 4 minutes on, 3 minutes off for rest, and most importantly, we are going to be focusing on the explosion and description. I don't know what this is for. So we're going to work on the explosion and sitting back in the saddle. Okay, so we got our Tabata timer here. Let's get into a higher gear. Oh geez, let's bring that down. So let's move it into a higher gear. So big ring in the front, small in the back. Okay, so transition from in saddle, so you want your hands on the hoods. We're going to accelerate up and down. So that's right, we're going to be doing this for 4 minutes. But you want to think about, and make sure your trainer's nice and solid, is the acceleration out of the saddle and sitting back down without a break in the pedal stroke. Okay? Okay, go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, down. 2, 3, 4, up. 4, up. So usually accelerate and down. So when you're sitting down, you want to be sliding into your saddle, no break in the pedal stroke. Okay? This is extremely important because if you're getting out of your saddle on the hill, you want to be You don't want to have that lag in time when you sit back in the saddle. You know that person that is in front of you? They sit back, they stop pedaling for a couple seconds, and you almost run into them. That's what you don't want to do. Okay, so up, slide back in. No change in the pedal stroke. And down. This is also building strong leg muscles. A lot of people can't do this. And of course you probably wouldn't be doing this for 4 minutes on a hill. You get up out of the saddle and you stay there, right? But we're working on that leg strength. Up, down. So sliding into your saddle nice and gently, like you're sitting on a carton of eggs. Basically, what you want to be doing. And down. So it's an up motion. You're not pulling. Okay, you're not putting your weight on your front handlebars. I need to check my trainer. Up. You know what I'm going to do? Just for kicks. I'm going to tighten this. Oh yeah. Got a little loose over the last couple sessions. That's much better. Be nothing worse than falling, having your bike come out of your trainer while you're in acceleration. So there you go. That's the second time. Second time I've had to do that. Tighten up the connection on my trainer. Oh my gosh, does that feel better? Whew. So make sure you do that little self-check of your equipment before you get started. So you want to explode up. 2, 3, 4, down, 2, up, down, up, down, up. All right, so let's drop the gears. Let's spin it out nice and quick for recovery. We got 3 minutes, so let's grab some water. And here's a little tip for drinking. Always drink out the side of your mouth. Okay, get into that habit. Sometimes you don't have to think about it while you're sitting in the trainer, on the trainer in the basement, but you never want to drink like this. Why? Because you just took your eyes off the road. Okay? So you always want to have your eyes on the road and up. So, nice relaxed shoulders. You want to bring your cadence up. Flush the legs. So if you have an odometer or speedometer, make sure your cadence is 90 plus. So nice and quick. So we're just going to roll this out. We got less than 2 minutes. So you want to flush the lactic acid out of your legs. And this is the same when you get to the top of the hill or after a quick interval, is to spin. Spin, spin, spin. I can't tell you how important that is. The last thing you want to do is do a hill, stop for your rest. Okay? No. Change it up. Spin around the parking lot. Go back and forth while you're waiting for your friends. Okay? So that's pretty important. Flushing the lactic acid, and what it does is it allows you to get stronger and be able to buffer and flush that faster, right? You want to be able to recover faster. That's the whole point of doing accelerations, intervals, hill repeats, sprints, for quicker recovery. So yes, you're gonna get faster, but you can flush faster. You can teach your body. Okay, we've got 24 seconds. So So remember, wrists are straight, not like this. Okay? All right, let's bring it up to the big ring. Down a couple hard gears. All right, we're not getting, okay, let's do it. So make sure you're in a hard gear. You get out of the saddle, up, 2, 3, 4, down, up. So remember, it's an explosion up out of the side. You're not pulling, okay? It has nothing to do with your arms. Up, working those legs, down, up, down, up, down. So just keep doing that, thinking, and especially that transition into your saddle. So core tight, abs are tight, up, slide. Remember, on a carton of eggs, up, slide, up, slide, up, up. Good. Keep going. 3 minutes. Keep those heels down. Remember, I talked about that on Monday. Keeping your feet nice and flat, toes to the ceiling. You have your mirror in front. You can see your pedals when you're pedaling. So meaning your feet are flat, and I can see the platform of your pedal in front. And breathe. So if you have a CompuTrainer or a PowerMeter or Smart Trainer, you can of course add more resistance to the back wheel. I just have a straight up trainer and it works perfect. But you have to apply the pressure obviously before you get on. So make sure you apply enough pressure so you're using your gears. Alright, less than 2 minutes. Let's float. Pick it up. Good job. Keep going. So up, 2 pedal strokes. Down, 2 pedal strokes. Up. And your legs are going to get tired. So your bum should be slightly over your saddle, settling back in. Less than a minute. Good job, everybody. Thirty. 20. Oh my gosh, your glutes burning. My glutes are burning. 10. All right, release it out. Let's spin it for 3 minutes. All right, 3 minutes. Okay, make sure you're into a good spin, right? Your legs are burning from that. You want to relax the shoulders. You want to be flushing right now. You don't want to let that burn build, right? That burning sensation in your leg, you don't want to let that build. Great time for some water. And breathe. Good job. We have one more, and then we're done. Keep those heels down. This is not a time to get into bad form of pointing your toes. You want to feel those calves working. Relax. And breathe. Help bring your heart rate down, right? In through your nose, out through your mouth. Through your nose, through your mouth. So typically, we use like 1 more minute, about, I don't know, something crazy like 10% of our lungs when we're exercising. So it's something, it's definitely a learned exercise is how to fill our complete diaphragm. So if you think of some of the, the pro cyclists, when you see their stomachs extended, that's their deep breathing, right? Sometimes you have to breathe in about 3 times to really fill your lungs and exhale. So imagine if we were using that full lung capacity. All right, let's do it. Up. Add those gears. Ready? So we're going to explode out of the saddle with our legs, so pushing with our legs, not pulling with our arms, and we're going to settle back into the saddle. Power up and down, up and down. So you want to be up over the crank, over your pedals, and down. Oh, tired legs, which means I didn't get a long enough sleep last night, and my daily workouts are starting to catch up, and they're good. Up. Good job. Good morning. All right. A little over 2 minutes left. Explode. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Up. Down. Power. Down. Make sure you're in a high enough gear. Up. Power. Down. Less than 2 minutes. Down. Good. All right. Almost done. Look at how easy it is to zone out. Working those quads. Good job. 50 seconds left. Let's go less than a minute. 40 seconds. Let's speed it up. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2. Keep going. 24. This is the end. Now we're done. 15. Oh gosh. Heels down. Oh, 3. Whew. Take it off. Good. Bring it up quick, quick, quick. Don't allow for any waiting time in between. Good. Let's cool down right into breakfast. Good job. So I'd love to know where you're tuning in from, and if there's anything, any particular skill you'd like to see that I can facilitate on the trainer, I'd love to know. So before you sign out, I want to know what you'd like to see, because I have Friday and I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week until this is over, until we can get out on the road and I can do do some drills and skills out there. So remember, cool it down. You want to flush the burning sensation out of your legs. Heels down, toes to the ceiling, shoulders lax. Slight bend in your elbow. You want to have a nice straight wrist. So yeah, love that, eh? I tore my UCL. It's this muscle right here that holds my thumb to the rest of my hand. Skiing. I imagine you could probably do that too if you have a good endo on your mountain bike. But it was skiing and it was really painful. And I don't think I completely tore it because I've been making some really good gains. I've got almost the strength back, but I do use it for my bike, and I will be using it for riding because I do find the bounce of the road really hurts and aggravates it. Plus, I was really concerned about shifting because I have a campy set, and so I shift from the thumb, right? So we're just cooling down, guys. A couple more minutes, and then it's breakfast time. So don't forget to join me back in an hour and a half for our strength workout. Good to cool down. I see you can tap for music or song. I might have to check that out. All right, let's bring it to a stop. And we're cooling down. Excellent work, everybody. So, I hope you enjoyed that and you put those jumping skills into play, if you're in your Swift or Peloton, it's that explosive movement out of the saddle, and you definitely have to add resistance depending, or gears, depending on where you're exploding from, like depending what gear you're sitting at, right? Because if you don't, so anytime you sprint, so like in a crit or a sprint acceleration on the flats, you have to add gears, because sitting, you push a certain gear. When you're sprinting, you're adding more power. So you have to add gears either before or simultaneously when you're getting out of the saddle, okay? Because otherwise you get out, you're spinning too light of gear, and you're not going to go anywhere fast. And if you have people behind you, they're going to run into you. So you have to be able to do that properly, especially if you plan on racing at any point in time, or even if you're in a group ride. It's hard to feel by yourself unless you have somebody following you in the back. So, and same with going up hills, right? You have to accelerate out of the saddle. You always add a gear on your hill if you have it, because you can push a little harder. So that means you're in your granny gear, right? And you're actually going to gear down when you're on the hill, because if you get up, you're going to be at a too high gear. You're going to burn, unless you can, but the majority of us can't. So you just gear down a couple gears so you get up, so you can pedal faster over being in a too high granny gear. And then when you sit down, you add that gear back. Okay, so when you on the hill, you drop a gear or two to get out of your saddle to be able to spin a little bit faster. You don't stay in the same gear, because you're going to create a lot of lactic buildup. And then when you sit down, you add that gear back. Okay, so does that make sense? Out of the saddle on the hill, drop a couple gears. When you sit back down, add them back. Up, drop a couple gears. When you sit back, add them back. That, Coach Sylvie, over and out. Have an amazing day.